There's no question he's a hooper, and he is competing for potentially a second straight MVP. And according to Sekou Smith on the MVP ladder on NBA.com, Harden is back on top, leapfrogging Giannis Antetokounmpo in the latest ladder, which came out on Friday. And guys, when you look at the two candidates here, we could beat you to death with numbers here, and they're all good, right? Antetokounmpo's numbers, great. Defensive numbers, much better than Harden's. Harden's offensive numbers are absurd. Some of it may come down for voters to what you consider an MVP and what is most important to you.
When I look at the MVP race, I look at value. How important are you to your team? And in the position you're in, what have you done? And then not to mention, you got to give me something special, something I haven't seen before. For me, all season long has been Harden. Why? We've seen history. He's chased a record. If I told you that he would chase Wilt Chamberlain for 30-point games, you're crazy. Not a three-point shooter. Not all night long, all season long. Adversity. It's just about every starter on that team has missed games other than James Harden. And when he missed games, they were in the 12th spot in the Western Conference and climb up to the what are they, third, fourth now? Mm-hmm. System. When you talk about overall importance, Mike D'Antoni was the creator of the 7-second offense. Ball movement, pick and roll. He scrapped everything he runs because how dominant James Harden is. I don't want to take anything from Giannis. I love his motor, his consistency, his improvement. But James Harden, hands down, is the MVP of the NBA.
Tough to argue with, but I'm going to try.
There's definitely an argument.
I love James Harden and what he's doing. You said something. I want to see something I haven't seen before. And this scoring exhibition that he's putting on right now, he's the leading scorer at 36 points a game in the league. The next closest guy is, what is it, 20-some?
28.
I have seen that before. Michael did that for years. And he would, the next lowest guy would be, or the next nearest guy would be 7, 8, 9 points below him. And again, taking nothing away from James. But Giannis, what he's done this year, and sometimes you're just a victim of the circumstances. And I think that's where James is going to end up at the end of this season. His team's not playing as well this year. They have had guys in and out of the lineup. Right. Giannis has his team poised to be the #1 seed in the East. Team is playing very well. He's put them on his back all season long. He plays both ends of the court. He doesn't try to do anything he can't do. And once he figures out how to shoot this basketball at an elite level, it's all over.
Well, that's for a future time. This version of Giannis is really good, and part of the argument for the Greek Freak as MVP would be the best player on the best team argument, wire to wire, which the Bucks have been.
Yeah, and that kind of is the overriding factor for me. I love James Harden. Saw him play a few weeks ago in person, and I'm amazed. He just plays in slow motion. Everything, he's unguardable. He's like, I remember, he just shoots it a little higher if you close out on him. It reminded me of like trying back in the day to guard Chris Mullin. You'd think you have him covered up. He'd shoot it a little higher or a little quicker, maddening to play against.
I actually take that as a knock, though, in a sense that for Giannis, there's magic going on in Milwaukee right now. Bud Budenholzer has, obviously, I would put him as the front runner for the Coach of the Year with the turnaround that they've had. Chris Middleton's balling, Bledsoe's balling, Lopez is shooting a deep three. Everything is just working, and he's put Giannis in a system that has allowed him to excel. Now, we're not going to pretend that he hasn't put in work in the offseason, developed. He's added 51 pounds in the offseason. But when I look at system and what he's done, there's a great group. There's a great fit around Giannis. And when I look at Harden, he is the system. He goes down, there's no backups. There's no replacement. There wasn't a coach that came in as great as D'Antoni is and just changed Harden's game. He has taken that team and that system and that city to another level.
Well, it's a little like what happened with Steve Nash, with Mike D'Antoni years ago. New coach comes in, he's the guy, he's the linchpin of the system, and becomes a two-time MVP.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think back to Westbrook's MVP year. Russell Westbrook, undoubtedly wouldn't have been the MVP. But what did he do? He set history. He had a triple-double. And obviously we can point at the second year. Kevin Durant leaves. It's something, I mean, we never would have imagined it. Never, never. And Rex, you know this from scouting reports. If you told me that a guy was going to play one-on-one all game long, essentially, we'd switch off screens. We'd say, man, beat us. Go score 40, go score 50, go score 60 a night.
Right.
Well, guess what James does? he beats you like that.
He'll do it, yeah. He will oblige you if you give him that option, that's for sure.